Hello, everyone, and welcome to BodyBags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Theron, Tats, and I think you already know if you've been keeping up with the videos we've been putting out this week. Everybody's reviewing a movie from the year 1997, and kind of hard for me, It's like I'm gonna be honest with you, just yeah, kind of like from like '95 to the early 2000s, just kind of horror movies, just in my opinion, just kind of really just kind of hit like a kind of like a dead spot. A lot of it was because they just really didn't want to. It's like they were really trying to steer away from, just making horror films and just calling them horror films, and um, like that. It was that whole time of like, now like slasher movies had to be made more like teenage soap operas, and that was the thing you couldn't even call. Like they really tried to tone down horror movies, and um, like you couldn't even call them horror movies. You had to have another name for them, and you know, like From Dusk Till Dawn, you couldn't call that a horror movie at the time. It was an action adventure or something, or it had to be like a psychological thriller. Or in the case of the movie that I'm reviewing today, I am reviewing Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate. Excuse me. And this is billed as a supernatural thriller, but you can't call it a horror film, So it was just that whole period, between, from the mid 90s into the early 2000s, just kind of like, just, kind of was not really my favorite period for horror films. But this movie here, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times. Personally, it's like, it's like it's all right. It's just not something I would doesn't have a lot of rewatch value, just in my opinion. But that's just me. But the story is about this Florida lawyer named Kevin Lomax, played by Keanu Reeves, and he's married to this beautiful woman Marianne, who's played by Charlize Theron, and it turns out that as a lawyer, Kevin is kind of unscrupulous. He's one of these kind of lawyers. Like he's determined when he takes on a case, he's he is a lawyer with a really good track record. He's really never lost a case. And so come to find out though too, he is one of those kinds like he is one of those kind of lawyers. He's so determined to win that he has no problems, doing some backstabbing and do a little underhandedness, to win his cases. And so he's asked to go to Manhattan. Sorry. So he's asked to go to Manhattan and basically like consult on a case and stuff, where he meets John Milton, played by Al Pacino. And if you get the reference, John Milton, Paradise Lost, and there are references to Dante's Inferno and things like this in here. But he goes and everything, and it turns out Milton is really impressed with him, and he asks him, he tells him, it's like I want to hire you as a lawyer here, and be a high-paying job and all this other kind of stuff, and I want you to come work for my firm. So he and his wife Marianne, they decide this would be a good thing to do, and all this stuff, and then so they go to they go to Manhattan. He starts working in the firm and stuff, and then weird things start to happen. Like he's put, Kevin is put on this case where he has to defend this murderer, played by this, supposed murderer, played by Craig T. Nelson, and he's accused of killing his wife, and um, so he's like working on this case, but it turns out this case is pretty complex and it's taking a lot more of his time and everything. But meanwhile, it turns out that John is getting pretty friendly with Marianne. And then, weird things start to happen. Marianne starts seeing things. We realize that, things are not really as they appear. And it turns out that it just so happens that Kevin has this fundamentalist mother who, she comes to visit them, and, she sees John, and then she's like really like taken aback by him and everything. Then we come to find out that actually that, you know, Kevin's mom and John, had a little fling, which resulted in Kevin being born. So it turns out that Kevin is actually John's son. And then Marianne, it turns out she's beginning to become tortured, and things are like just just all kinds of just weird things are going on, and she's trying to talk to Kevin about it, but he's dismissing a lot of it, and she's trying to explain to him that John is not who he appears to be, and he's Kevin is just kind of like just wrapped up in this whole thing of he's dead set on like winning this case, and he kind of like doesn't really want to be bothered with her right now, and all this other kind of stuff. And then also too, there's Christabella, who is played by Connie Nielsen. You remember from movies like Gladiator, and she's kind of caught Kevin's eye, and she's kind of seducing him as well, and all this kind of stuff. And then as the story goes on, um, uh, I'm trying to. I'm sorry. I know I keep but I'm trying not to. I'm really not trying to give away too much, but But I think you kind of already know where I'm going with this, and it turns out that pretty much that John is the devil, and he's trying to lure in Kevin and his wife, and trying to like break them down so that he can pretty much control them and things like that. And I think I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. There, I'm sorry. I know I'm kind of butchering this, and in a way I'm being vague as hell, but it's like just sometimes I think the other guys could agree with me too. I think sometimes it's just really hard when you're trying to review a movie, and it's just trying to walk that balance of not giving it away for the audience, and just trying to give them just enough, but not giving away the whole enchilada. But anyway, though, this movie, it is a decent movie. It does kind of make you feel like it's in the vein of kind of like satanic thrillers from the past. Like you definitely get kind of a vibe of like The Omen from this, or like Rosemary's Baby, something like that. So it definitely kind of fits in that vein. Um, but just like I said, it's not a bad movie. All the performances are good. It's like when you get towards the climax, you got Pacino does that. He gets and has that really fun. Like when you like it, if you like it when Pacino has roles where he goes over the top, and he's just like wow, 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 wow. If you like that, you're gonna kind of like the ending of this movie. Just the way he gives the performance and everything else, and just kind of goes balls out and stuff. Keanu Reeves does a really good job. He's very solid, gives a very straightforward performance. The only problem is there are moments where, well, that's the thing, like these are kind of morally ambiguous characters that we're dealing with in this movie. So there are times where you do kind of root for him, but there are also times in the movie where you kind of actively hate him. Charlize Theron does a really good job, and um, I'm sure there are probably some people who probably watch this and be like, she's just kind of here more to be like just eye candy, and because it's Charlize Theron, of course, she's easily one of the most gorgeous women in the world. But she does really, I think she does give a solid performance. I think she really gives it her all. She puts a lot of work and effort into her character, and I really do think she does a good job. So yeah, good performances all around, and um, but just yeah, just like I said, it's not a bad movie. But like I said, just for me personally, just not really a movie with a ton of rewatch value. But I would definitely say, yeah, if you're into movies that have that kind of vibe to it, like I said, something like The Omen, Rosemary's Baby, things like that. If you're into movies like that, then I think you really like Devil's Advocate, and I think that's pretty much about all I can say about it. Just and there you go. So yeah, not overtly horror or anything. It's kind of more. There's more like kind of psychological and things like that, and it's just like I said, kind of like it has that kind of more feel like it's like playing with your mind, that kind of a thing. But it's not really till the end when things kind of really come out. But yeah, I would say go ahead and give it a shot. It's not a bad film at all. So but make sure you got time because this movie clocks in like about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So It's a little bit on the lengthy side, but still, it's worth it. So, if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. If you please leave it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the BodyBags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. We have different guys. Everybody's all doing really good stuff and more fun theme weeks and year weeks and stuff like that. And we're going to be here pretty soon. We're going to be tackling the Paranormal Activity franchise. That's going to be fun to do. So that's it. So everybody, take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.